Hi guys, welcome to Android Guider. So today we will be checking out the first beta release of Paranoid Android, also known as AOSPA. Now this is the first build of the ROM, so that means that there are some bugs and the ROM is nowhere complete. A lot of features will be added on, and this is just an initial look. Okay, to get started with, you will notice a couple of things in here. The name beta is mentioned in here, and alongside that you have the build date. The build date is 4th of January, and another thing that might seem off is the security patch level, and that is October 5, 2018. Now you might be thinking that alright, the January security patches are already out, so why the heck are the Paranoid Android guys using such a dated patch? Well, actually Paranoid Android is based on CAF, that is the Code Aurora forums, and that is basically the source code that is released by Qualcomm. So the way CAF handles security patches, that is way different than Google. And when we talk about security patches otherwise, then we are talking about the security patches that are released by Google on the Android open source project on AOSP. So the way CAF handles security patches, that is different than Google. So you don't have to worry about your device being less secure. Your device would be secure, just trust me on that. The way it's just that the way CAF handles the security patches, that is just a lot different than that of Google. Okay, so I have already warned you that this is the first release of the ROM, so don't expect that many number of features that you might be used to with Paranoid Android, but still there are a lot of features that we have to cover up. Okay, now first up we have got network and internet. You have got your standard set of settings. A couple of things that I want to mention in here is that you can use Wi-Fi and a mobile hotspot at the same time, and Bluetooth tethering is also there. And then we have got if you can also obviously use a VPN, and then there is the facility of private DNS if you want to use that. Next we have got connected devices. Bluetooth is there. I didn't have any problems with Bluetooth, by the way. That worked flawlessly. Next we have got apps and notifications. So the ROM does come with the digital well-being. That's included in right at the bottom of the settings menu. So basically from in here you can see how long have you used an app for, and if you want to restrict your usage of any particular app, then you can do that. And also in this three-dotted menu you will find all those licenses, turn off usage access, and all that stuff. And basically if you want to view more detailed stats, then you can also I already told you can view your usage times, and also if you want to view the number of notifications that you have received from a particular app, then you can do that from in here, and also the number of times you have opened an app. So all that stuff is there. And if you want to decrease or restrict the time that you use an app for, then you can do that. You can also set a custom timer if you want to. Alright, and all these options are there. You can just set up a digital well-being if you want to, just as you want to. Okay, so you're at apps and notifications. Time spent in apps, that will be just take you to digital well-being, notification, default apps, and all that. Nothing much to cover up in here. Then we have got battery and battery usage. I didn't have any problem with the ROM on my Poco F1. I have been using this ROM since a day, and the battery, the screen on time, if you want to know that, then I got about, I think, 9 hours and 5 minutes, something like that. So with the massive 4000 mAh battery of the Poco F1 and the added efficiency of the Snapdragon 845, you shouldn't be having any problems in the battery easily lasting a day. Alright, so software tweaks, battery saver, you can enable that for any percentage from ranging from 5 to 75%, so that's great to see. Then you have got if you want to a battery manager is there. Basically it will detect abnormal activity. In case it does detect some abnormal activity, then it will restrict the usage of those apps. And I will also talk about some weird things that I didn't like about restriction. I will just get to those in a second. Okay, and then you have got battery percentage. If you want to just show the battery percentage, then you can do that. And yeah, and in the 3-dot menu you can view your battery graphs if you want to. Alright, next we have got our display settings. Brightness level, you can adjust that. Night light is there, and you can turn it on at a custom time if you want to turn it on from from sunrise to sunset, or you can just configure everything. And then you can also configure the intensity if you want to. So I'll just turn it off and I'll go back. Pocket detection is there and it works fine. Sleep timeouts, the minimum limit is 15 seconds and the maximum time limit is 30 minutes. Auto rotate screen is there. Then you can change the font size, display size, screensaver, ambient display. Ambient display work really well, but you don't have the ambient display gestures. And then in the end we have got a device theme. So there are 3 options. Automatic will toggle between light and dark depending on the time of the day, and dark theme. Another thing that is worth noting here is that the light theme works flawlessly. When I scroll down the quick settings panel, you can see that. And even the power dialog and the volume dialog box, everything is themed light. Now when I get to dark, that's where the problem is. You can see that the theme of the settings menu hasn't changed, but the quick settings panel is themed, and the volume dialog box is also themed, and the power dialog is also themed. So probably this is something that the Paranoid Android team will be fixing in a future update. Probably the settings application will also be themed. So that's something that I'm expecting. Next we have got the sound settings. So here you can adjust all your volume levels. Then you have got vibrate for calls, do not disturb, shortcut to prevent ringing, and basically here you can use power and volume up together. You can use that to trigger the silent mode, and you can basically configure what should those keys do, vibrate, mute, or do nothing. So you can configure that however you want. Then we have got you can adjust the ringtones, notification sounds, alarm sounds, and then in the end we have got dial pad tones, screen locking sounds, charging sounds, and touch vibration. Okay, storage, and this is where I'm noticing some bugs. Is that the SD cards are not being detected properly. I clean flashed this ROM twice just to make sure that nothing went wrong during the flash, but the SD cards were working fine for me in Lineage OS, and I also tried out Havoc OS. In both the ROMs my SD card was working fine, but for some reason here I am getting that my SD card is corrupted, but it's working fine, so probably a bug in the ROM. Then we have got security and location, and I've already told you about the security patch. GPS worked fine, and a couple of other things. Flashlight works, the camera works, and I have just noticed a weird thing about the vibration intensity. I just feel that it's just on the higher side. Probably they can just lower the vibration intensity a bit. And even when I'm unlocking the phone using the fingerprint scan, there is just this the vibration intensity is weirdly too high. I think it's way better in Lineage OS, so probably this is something that Paranoid Android can fix. So that's just a small issue, but it's there. I just wanted to mention that. Okay, now pattern lock. You don't get to choose the grid size, and another thing is that for those of you who are using a Poco F1, firstly just have a look at all these settings. Make pattern visible, you can choose when to automatically lock, power button instantly locks, and lock screen message, you can configure that. And smart lock, the IR camera works fine for those of you who have got a Poco F1, and I think that is the case with the Xiaomi Mi 8 too. That too also has a face unlock setup, and the way you can set up face unlock is just by going to trusted face, and I'll just tap on improve face matching, and next. So you can see that face unlocking works fine. And another thing is that, in fact, I'll just show that to you. I'll just unlock, I'll just turn the screen off, and now when I unlock my phone, you can see that the face unlock is really fast, but it doesn't automatically unlock the lock screen for you. That is, you have to swipe up to unlock the phone, and I kind of like that because personally whenever I open the lock screen at that time, I just want to have a glance at all the notifications that I have, and with the face unlock of the Poco F1 being ridiculously fast, I don't even get time to have a proper look at the lock screen, which is what I want. So this works for me, but I know some of you guys would like to have the lock screen swiped up, so probably this is something that Paranoid Android will be adding in a future update, but it's not there right now. And privacy guard, none of that is present, so yeah, that's all what we have. Then accounts, I don't have to cover that up. Accessibility, I think there was just one feature in here. If you want to use power button to cut the calls, then you can use that. And auto rotate screen. Now what is this feature for? Then if you just rotate the screen, then you have this toggle which is asking you for confirmation. If you don't want that, then you can just just go down and go to settings from in here. Yeah, so if you don't want that toggle, and if you actually want the auto screen to be rotated right away, then just have this option enabled and it will do that for you. In fact, I'll just show that to you right away. There you go. So that is there if you want to, and then touch and hold delay, vibration, and you can configure ring and notification vibration and touch vibration. So that's there. Then if there is mono audio, and this can be particularly useful if you have got only one of your earphones in you have got only one of your earphones in one of your ears. Obviously you will be inserting only one earphone in one ear. Alright, I don't know. Okay, so if you want, then what this does is, what this setting will do is it will convert stereo audio to mono audio, and that's useful when you are just listening to the to audio from just one of your earbuds. So you can enable the setting if you want to. And digital well-being, I have already told you about that. System, then you have got your about phone, language and input. Buttons, only one option is in here, on-screen navigation bar. You can enable or disable that. Then I think developer options, and I think I have missed gestures. Gestures, you have got the double press the power button to launch the camera, and then you have got swipe up on the home button. If you disable that, your Oreo style navigation bar would be activated, and then we have that prevent ringing gesture that I covered in the sound settings. And in the end, we have got developer options. So you can select the picture mode, use sRGB, and automatic system updates. By the way, the ROM has its built-in OTA updater. I think, yeah, it has its inbuilt OTA updater, and you can enable or disable the automatic system updates option, but I'm not too sure whether that works, so we'll have to see that. Night mode, always off. Then you have got your standard settings. The Bluetooth codec settings are there, and then we have got the animation settings. And by the way, if you feel that the DPI is just weird, if you want to increase or decrease that, then you can do that from in here by customizing the smallest width attribute. And there is no option to hide the notch right now. So if you want to know that, then no, you can't hide the notch currently, but hopefully they will do that. They will include that option in the future. Yeah, and I guess that's it. You can force allow apps to use the external storage and force activities to be resized. Well, all that stuff is in there. Okay, now another weird thing that I wanted to mention about this build is that firstly, before that, for the Poco F1 users, the ROM is the developer, that is Parth Bhatia. He will not entertain any bug reports or anything if you use a custom kernel. So you have to just keep using the stock kernel. If you are going to use a custom kernel, then you are on your own. The thing that I don't like about is that whenever I was gaming, or when I ran a couple of benchmarks, then I just got this weird thing. Okay, just have a look for yourself. Now this is what is the problem. I get this error, phone is getting warm and some features limited while the phone cools down. Now as a result of this, I have faced problems when I was gaming. The performance was not as great as I would have wanted to be, but there was only a negligible difference. It was not any kind of a deal breaker that I would have to shift my ROM because of that, but that was there. And in fact that is reflected even in the AnTuTu scores. Usually the Poco F1, even on Lineage OS, it gets around 280 to 90,000, and in Paranoid Android we have a score of just 230,000. And I just got this while I was gaming a bit, or when I ran AnTuTu. In Geekbench there were no problems. In fact the score in Geekbench was a couple of hundred more than Lineage OS or anything, and these are the sequential read and write speeds if you want to check them out. Now personally I am not a big fan of benchmarks, but since some of you have asked me to include that in my ROM reviews, that is why I am showing you the scores. So that is the only thing that I haven't liked about the ROM, that it just throttles the CPU. I wish I would have had a switch where I could enable or disable that setting. Anyway, let's check out the apps that we get. And by the way, the Google camera worked fine, and I think I have mentioned GPS worked fine, flashlight, cameras. And by the way, just since we are talking about the camera, let's take a look at the camera application. So this is the camera application that we get. Okay, so you have got your standard settings. You can there's a timer, and then if you want to have a grade, then flash, and then you can toggle to the front facing camera. Then you can do videos, you can take cameras, photos, and then you can shift to the video mode. Settings, you can select resolution and quality for both the videos and the photos. And then under advanced settings, manual exposure is there, and yeah, that's all. Okay, and you can also configure the exposure manually from in here. That's all in the camera application. And we have a Chromium browser that is built into the ROM, so that is there. But if you want to use Chromium, basically if you don't know, then Chromium is the open source version of Google Chrome. Google Chrome is open source. A part of it, it's not completely open source, but most of it is open source. So a web browser that is compiled from those open sources, that is what is a Chromium web browser. So that is what they have included. You get a clock application, contacts, email, files, nice galleries also included, and I think you can also okay, if I can just quickly in fact I'll just play this video, play it just once. And you have those sliding brightness controls to control the volume and the brightness. And we also get a built-in photo editor, so you can configure their filters, you can crop, and you can change exposure, contrast, vibrancy, sharpness. And then I think this is where you can tweak the location, or in fact these are just a bunch of added stickers, I guess. Yeah, so all that is there. Yeah, so you can configure all that, and you get a messaging application. Then there is also an inbuilt audio player. You can sort songs by artist, albums, songs, playlists, and then using Snapdragon Audio Plus you can configure the audio level, and this actually worked. I tested that. And apart from that, we have got also a sound recorder is there, and Substratum worked, but you will be needing root access for that. And then you have got this video player, I think. yeah, that basically allows you to do the same thing, those sliding gestures. And yeah, and in the end Google Wallpapers is built in. And the stock launcher that is there, that is I think this is quick step if I'm not wrong, but you can configure notification dots, add icons to home screen for the new apps, allow home screen rotation, and then you can change the icon shape. And swipe to Google now is not supported. And another great thing about this ROM is the custom wallpapers. So I think these we only have one on-screen on-device wallpaper, and these are made by the same guy who makes wallpapers for OnePlus smartphones. I don't know the name, but I'll be having his Twitter or his website. I think I will be linking that down below, so that if you want to download this wallpaper, then you can do that from that link. Just find that in the description. Alright, and then you have got all those categories for Google Wallpapers, obviously. Another thing is that in addition to Quick Step, there is also the Google Pixel launcher, but that kept crashing for me for some reason. That didn't work, and I had to use Quick Step. And also the double tap to wake feature is not included for the Poco F1, although Xiaomi supports it by default in MIUI, so that's not included. And another issue that I had was that for some reason when I do the safety net check, the CTS profile was it turned out to be false, and as a result of that, when I go to the Google Play Store, it shows as the device not certified. I'll quickly show you that if you are interested. Go to settings, and there you can see that device is not certified. So I did have Magisk Height turned on, but for some reason I think maybe because that CTS profile check is failing, that is why. But yeah, device is not certified, so that is not working. So probably just a couple of things are still there. And lastly, to sum up this ROM review, I will just show you the quick setting toggles that are there. These are the quick setting tiles that are enabled by default. In fact, I added a grayscale and night light, and these are the ones that you can add on. So overall, I would say this is a good start, and I hope Paranoid Android improves from here on. I've got great expectations of the ROM, so just maybe give it a couple of months or a couple of weeks, and maybe we will have a good version of the ROM. So let me know if you want to have any ROM, if you want to have any particular ROM that you want me to review. Just mention it in the comments, and if it's available for any of my phones, I will review it definitely. And also I will be reviewing future builds of Paranoid Android. I think I might skip one or two here and there in between, so that I give the ROM some time to improve. Yeah, so if you want to know more about custom ROM, if you want to check out more custom ROM reviews, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel. So that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you liked it. If that was the case, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel for more such content. So thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day, take care, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Sayonara.